the way that you would effectively play with them now would be the way that you would have effectively played them in 3rd edition or 3.5 or 4. You would have a themed army, and I like that. I like how that's been brought back. I liked the last Codex because it made it open for anybody to pick whatever they wanted to buy, kind of thing, and just make an army and go. But it caused some problems. It caused some problems when you had a Tzeentch sorcerer leading Khorne berserkers with some Iron Warriors obliterators in the back, and you're kind of looking at this army going, what did this guy take when he was planning this army, and did he even read up on what's going on here? But I guess it doesn't really matter too much in this game. But it still was weird, because for the longest time, as I would recall, if you had a Khorne army, you had a Khorne army with Khorne Lord, Khorne army. Other stuff was extra and elites. If you had Nurgle, same thing. Nurgle. And same thing with the rest of the stuff, right? So I like how it's kind of like that again. If you take a Chaos Lord and you give him a mark, it makes it so the legion of that mark, so Khorne Berserkers for Khorne, Plague Marines for Nurgle, Thousand Suns for Tzeentch, and Noise Marines for Slaanesh. Even though, wait, for Tzeentch, that's for Sorcerers, sorry. I don't want to get ahead of myself there. It makes them to be troops. It's not exactly how it used to be, because before you'd be able to put whatever you want in whatever squad and just replace it. It's kind of neat. But now it's kind of the same, but still it's good enough. It's good enough. Sorcerers. It's good that they were, I guess, pushed down to the same level as librarians and chaplains, although I'm still kind of disappointed by that. I kind of liked having a chaplain or a librarian that I could put down on the table who have, the 3 wounds and the 3 attacks like a character should, and not feel like I'm just buying a sub-character, something that's not quite as good as it should be. But, it's alright. I guess if they're going to do that with the rest of them, if they're going to dumb down some of the other characters, it's fine. Demon Princes are really nice in this new book. I like how they're a lot more open to what they could be. You can equip them with power armor so that they're actually a Chaos Space Marine that became a Demon Prince, or not, so that they're just a Demon Prince that's joining them. That's kind of neat. You can give them limited equipment. I was kind of hoping that you'd be able to buy them a bolter, so you could pull up some of those really old Demon Princes that have the giant bolters, or the Kai guns, or Kaji guns, or whatever. But no, you can't do any of that, and that's kind of depressing, because they show one in the book right here. Here's picture, Demon Prince, bolter. So that's kind of deceiving. I'm sure if your group lets you do it, go for it. Why not? It's just a bolter. But it's still kind of depressing that they didn't consider that they didn't allow the Demon Prince to be able to buy something like that, even if it was giant. And we'll not get into the difference between a Demon Prince bolter and a bolter. If you want, you can debate below what do you think the difference between a giant bolter and a regular one would be. Warpsmiths. Okay. Warpsmiths. I think I said in the last video that this was a great way for Iron Warriors to come back and make their mark kind of thing on the table and kind of look impressive again with something shiny and new. But it's just doesn't feel like that very impressive of a character. It's nice that Chaos have it. It's nice that they have that option and the ability to make that character, because they, I guess, should have it. Why not? But it's just not very appealing. He has the Shatter Defenses ability, which is the opposite of the Bolster Defenses ability that the Trek Marine has, where he's able to take a piece of terrain and reduce its cover save. I don't see that being the greatest ability, and I guess other than that, it's really just a Tech Marine. He can repair hull points or weapon destroyed with his mecha tendrils. And he can curse vehicles, so that's kind of neat. But I just don't see it being the most desired choice that's going to be out there for Chaos. And then the Dark Apostles. Once again, probably not one of the more common choices that you're going to be seeing. I mean, you might see it a bunch because there's one of the models in the Dark Vengeance box set actually looks like it would work perfectly for a Dark Apostle. It's got a mace, he's holding his helmet. It looks great. We're probably going to see a lot of those popping onto the table as Dark Apostles. So, I mean, it's just a champion. He's a chaplain, and he's a Chaos champion, so he's going to be something that you're going to be popping into your squads, leading them to, to lead a charge, to get a good assault on somebody, to try to take down their character, and to mutate him, to give him some kind of sort of power. He's essentially going to be something that you're just going to be putting into one of your Chaos squads as a secondary character. And so when we get into it, Chaos Bikers, there's nothing really that special about them. They're just like Space Marine Bikers. Havocs, they've got some special weapons. Chaos Cultists, right now, as it stands, GW has two ways you can buy them. Well, as you can buy official, let's say, 40k Cultist models. You can buy the Dark Vengeance box set, or you can buy a small box of about five models, I think. Which I wouldn't really suggest investing in buying 5 models for the price that it would be, especially if it's just cultists. Don't do it. Other than that, you could convert them yourself. Have fun. But they should be something I would like to see in a lot of armies. They're a good meat fodder. They're a good thing that would tie up units that would normally be a hazard. Let's say you're fighting Space Marines, you want to tie up one of their squad that's moving forward, their assault squad. You just jump a bunch of really cheap cultists in their way, and they're gonna get bogged down and stuck, and they're not going to be killing points effectively what they would want to be killing, and they're going to be dying more often than they should be because they're fighting way too many cheap units that are just hitting. So I would definitely suggest getting some Chaos Cultists. Possessed, I would say, are now more desirable now than they have been in the last 2 editions. They were really good when I first started. They were way too good. They were probably in more armies than I thought. I'd only played Chaos against Chaos a few times. And they were way too good. And then after that, I was kind of, well, why were they way too good? After I kept looking at these codexes, I don't get it. And now they're good again. I like how their abilities change every turn. That at least gives them some kind of morphing variety. It's better than the way that it used to be, or I mean, the way that it is the last edition. How it was, get one ability that's what it is. When before you could buy an amount of abilities, you could have 1, 2, or 3 abilities on your possessed, so they would get be really, really possessed. It was mean, but it worked. Chaos Terminators. With the new rules for power weapons, Chaos Terminators are going to be really interesting because from what I remember of Chaos Terminators, a lot of them will have maces, axes. Very few will have swords. So we're going to see a lot of initiative 1, but really strong penetrating attacks from their power axes, and then a lot of stunning attacks from the power mauls. And that's going to be really neat, because that's going to give Chaos Terminators a variety edge against the run-of-the-mill standard Terminators that you would find in any other Space Marine army with the Power Fist and Stormbolter. Now, they have the disadvantage of just having the Combi Bolter or Twin Link Bolter, but it's not too much of a problem when their armor is probably going to be saving most of those shots, and it's going to come down to whichever one of them wins hand-to-hand combat. And in most cases, I would probably want to lean towards the one that has the initiative bonus when it comes down to Terminators, usually. But not always. Chaos Spawn, kind of like the Possessed. That's kind of good. How it changes every turn. So, and the thing that's better about that is that now Chaos Spawn has at least an ability. It doesn't just randomly change its attacks every turn, but now has an ability which makes it much better than it's been before and much more desirable. So spawns are going to be something we're probably going to be seeing more, or at least just bought off the shelves. because of the fact that they're going to be popping up in games more randomly, and because they have these abilities, they'll be a more desirable choice. And a way to effectively use spawns, if you're going to actually buy a squad of spawns, for as a fast attack choice, and buy them from the table, really, really effective way to use them at that point is there's no way. I'm just leading that on. Don't do it. Don't buy spawns. You can if you're wanting to fill up some points, or if you just want to, you're trying to match up to your buddy's points and you want to get like that 1,500 points or something like that, and you're like, oh, I only have 25k, okay, or sorry, 12k, so you pop in some spawns or whatever just to try and catch up. Okay, but don't. You might get them for free, and you could use the psychic power that you have now, which can turn one of your guys into a spawn. They've changed Gift of Chaos, which would turn your opponent or your target into a spawn, into targeting one of your champions or one of your own models and turning it into a spawn. So you could do it that way, and you could buy some cheap models, buy some cultists, and turn them into spawns. So, that would be something to consider. And then you have a powerful unit that can tie up and bog up some pretty mean things. And it's a demon, so it'll have an invulnerable save. So it could tie up, let's say, a squad of Terminators, a squad of Vanguard veterans or Gene Stealers, maybe. Banshees, something that you really don't want to get in too close to. The spawn is a good expendable choice to toss into there that will probably take a few models down with it, and won't be too much of an effect on your army if it goes. It's not going to be something you're going to cry about. You're not going to worry. It'll be a spawn, and it'll be cheap, effective killing machine. We'll move through here. Let's see. We've got Plague Marines, Noise Marines. I don't see much that's too special about them in this. They're mainly just war gear based. Like Plague Marines have so much defensive gear. They've got Blight Grenades, which stops you from getting your attack, or gives you -1 attack when you charge, so it cancels it out or something like that. They've got Plague Knives now again, it's not as good as it used to be. It used to give them rending. I think now it's poisoned or something. I'll have to look into that. I got the book right in front of me. Let's see, what else do we have here? Skip the page. Raptors, Warp Talons. Yeah, I think I talked about this in the last video. Warp Talons are probably just going to be way too expensive. And the fact that they all have Lightning Claws isn't that great. I mean, Lightning Claws, don't get me wrong, Lightning Claws are a great choice. Use them. Put them on your Assault Terminators. Put them on some character that you really want to have Assault or Lightning Claws on. Do it. Why not? It's cool. If you like Wolverine, do it. Yeah. But they're expensive. And you need to have a pair of them for them to be good. And a pair of them you're going to be spending some top-notch points. You're going to be spending, 50, 60 points per guy on equipment? So think about that how much these guys cost. And what you're actually going to be using them for. They're going to be popping down onto the table, turn 2, 3, 4, only getting, not being able to charge when they deep strike, if they deep strike, let's say. If you're going to be popping them around the table through cover to try and get them to your target, your opponent's probably going to be moving them, flanking their force away from them so they can try to get as much time to delay it as possible. And if you deep strike, there'd be a sitting duck for a turn. So, Warp Talons, take them at your own expense. If you like them, take them. I would definitely say take them and run them. And if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong or show me how I'm wrong. But I don't think that they're going to be that great. Forge Fiends and Mauler Fiends. I don't even think I really talked about these in the last video. I don't really know too much about them, to be honest. I didn't really look them over because I don't really like them. Maybe I'm just being, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like them because they're new. They're new and frightening. But I just don't think they're that cool. But some other people might like them. To each their own, right? I like the conversion you can do that uses their arms and